I love being here in a city where you call your athletic arena the Joe. I like that. I like that a lot. If last Friday night's debate had taken place in the Joe Louis Arena, it would have been a unanimous decision. That debate focused on foreign policy. That was supposed to be John McCain's home turf. But ladies and gentlemen, Barack Obama owned the turf on Friday night. America saw a man that those of us who work with Barack and know him, the three of us sitting on the stage with him, they saw a man with vision, strength, and judgment. Judgment to be Commander-in-Chief of the United States of America. Look, America saw a man who not only understands the threats we face, the threats of today, but what's on the horizon for tomorrow. And they saw he not only knows how to deal with today, he'll know how to avoid the chaos that we've seen in this administration from the threats we face tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, America saw a man who knows that for average Americans, this economic crisis didn't start last week. It's been going on for a long time. There is only one man who will make things better for all of us, and that man is Barack Obama. You know, Detroit, we saw something else. That's a nice ring to it. Folks, we also saw, and I'm being deadly earnest when I say this, we also saw something else on Friday night. We saw a man who was a brave soldier, a man who risked his life for the country, a man whose service to the country as a soldier is beyond question. But we also saw a man who was literally out of touch with the American people. We need more than a soldier. We need a wise leader. And God love, as my mother would say, God loved John. He supported and he continues to support George Bush's failed philosophy of the past 8 years. At that debate, John McCain talked about how nothing was more important than judgment. That's the one thing John McCain was right about. There's nothing more important than judgment in the next president. But the problem is, John McCain on all the important issues has demonstrated he lacks the judgment to be president of the United States. His judgment on foreign policy and on economic policy, the policy decisions of the last 8 years, has been consistently wrong. And by the way, think about it just in rational terms. I cannot think of a single solitary major policy position that John McCain has disagreed with on the economy and foreign policy that's different than George Bush's. Ladies and gentlemen, John McCain was wrong on the war in Iraq. John McCain was wrong on the conduct of the war in Iraq. John McCain said, unlike Barack and me, that we be greeted as liberators. John McCain and Dick Cheney said we'd find weapons of mass destruction. John McCain and Dick Cheney said that Sunnis and Shia have always gotten together and gotten along. Ladies and gentlemen, he's not only wrong about conducting the war, He's more importantly wrong about continuing the war indefinitely. Barack Obama and I will end this war. We will end this war. Folks, John McCain. Folks, it's not only on Iraq, it's not only in Iraq that John has been so painfully wrong for our nation, along with George Bush. But John continues to be wrong about Afghanistan, wrong about our homeland security, refusing to fully fund, as Debbie Stabenow and Barack Obama and Joe Biden and Carl Levin have consistently tried to do, and that is fully implement the recommendations of the bipartisan 9/11 Commission to make us safe in our homes. Ladies and gentlemen, John McCain said he'd follow Osama bin Laden to the gates of hell. Well, let me tell you something. President Barack Obama will follow him to where he lives and then send him to hell. Because he lives in Pakistan. He lives in Afghanistan. He does not live in Iraq. Ladies and gentlemen, John's judgment on major economic decisions that affect your everyday lives have been consistently wrong. Whether you have a job, your ability to afford health care, to fill your gas tank, to heat your home, to send your kids to college. Here, again and again, John McCain has been out of touch and his judgment has been wrong. John McCain voted 19 times against raising the minimum wage. Ladies and gentlemen, John McCain, it sounds like a gimmick, but that's literally true. Ladies and gentlemen, John McCain continues to support spending $15 billion a year to send jobs out of Michigan and Delaware and Illinois abroad instead of spending the money to keep the jobs here. Ladies and gentlemen, John even votes against providing extended unemployment benefits or retraining money to retrain workers losing their jobs because of trade. Ladies and gentlemen, and now, on the most serious economic crisis we've faced since the Great Depression, this economic meltdown. Ladies and gentlemen, a recession, a meltdown that could send the whole world in recession. John McCain says he knows what to do now. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm not making this up. At 9 a.m. last Monday morning, he said again, he said the fundamentals of the economy are strong. At 11 o'clock last Monday morning, he was saying that we have a great economic crisis on our hands. That's what we Catholics call an epiphany. Ladies and gentlemen, John says someone should take responsibility. I say, John, you should take a position and stick with it. Ladies and gentlemen, lurching from one view to another in a matter of hours is not what great presidents do. Presidents literally, not figuratively, have to instill confidence in people. Instill confidence both here at home and abroad. Ladies and gentlemen, John, where were you a week ago? I can tell you where Barack Obama was. A week ago, Barack Obama was doing what he's done, so I've watched him since he's come to the Senate. He was reaching his hand across the aisle. He was saying to Republicans and Democrats alike, we need to have a bipartisan way to protect American taxpayers in this bailout. Ladies and gentlemen, I asked John McCain, where were you a year ago when Barack Obama was one of the few people warning the Secretary of Treasury and the chairman of the Fed about the growing subprime mortgage problem? Where were you? Where were you 2 years ago when Barack Obama called for tough new laws to stop predatory lending practices? Where were you? Well, I'll tell you where John was. John was giving an interview to the Wall Street Journal, speaking to those titans of greed, as he now calls them, on Wall Street, saying, and I quote, "I'm always for less regulation." That's where John McCain was. And now John expects us to believe he's the man to protect us from the greed and excesses of Wall Street. That he's the new maverick regulator in town. You know, the problem is that John didn't see the light. John saw the poles. That's the problem. And ladies and gentlemen, as Barack Obama said on Friday night, it's not enough just to keep this nation and world from slipping into a massive recession. He said we need a wholesale change in our economic philosophy. Root and branch, the wholesale change. Folks, this is about our values. This is about the difference between John McCain and Sarah Palin and what they value and what Barack and I value. No, it really is. I love Republicans talking about values. I can hardly wait for this values debate. I love it. I've had it up to here. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you what Barack and I value. We don't measure progress by how many regulations we've cut or how well CEOs are doing. We measure progress in terms of the dignity and respect for the middle class and the working class. That's how we measure progress. It's about whether or not you can look your child in the eye, look them in the eye and say, "It's going to be all right, honey." It's about whether or not your government can look you in the eye and say, "We guarantee you we've given your sons and daughters everything they need to protect themselves and to accomplish their mission when we send them to war." It's about whether or not your government can look you in the eye and say, "We guarantee you we will meet the nation's only sacred obligation, and that is when they come home, we will care for them and give them a start." That's what we measure progress about. That's what we value. Look, folks, in my neighborhood, in the neighborhood where I grew up, no different than Barack's, and probably no different than the majority of you people here in this magnificent square, where I grew up, we have a saying, and this is literal, not a joke. A promise made is a promise kept. A promise made is a promise kept. That is what integrity is about, ladies and gentlemen. And I promise you, we will keep our promise to the middle class. We will keep our promise to end this war. Barack Obama and I will keep the promise to you that we will change this nation. And the neighborhood, my neighborhood was packed with moms and dads, mothers and fathers who told us if we worked hard, if we were honest, if we loved our country, there wasn't a single thing we could not do. And we believed it. We believed it. We acted on it. And we acted on it. And we did it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm running with Barack Obama because we can do it again, and he will be the man to lead us to do it again. My dad used to have a saying. He'd say, "Champ, when you get knocked down," literally, if I heard him say it once, I heard him say it 100 times. He said, "Champ, when you get knocked down, get up. Get up." Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's time we get up. It's time we get up together. We're ready. America is ready. I am ready. Barack Obama is ready. We're going to change this nation. Ladies and gentlemen, the next president of the United States of America, Barack Obama.